Well, good morning. Good Thursday morning, members. I see a lot of red in the house, as there should be. Good morning. Members will please come to the chamber and take your seats. Members, please come to the floor and take your seats, because the hour for convening having arrived. All members, please come take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? We got it. We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Have all members voted? All members voted. Take your time. All members voted. Have all members now voted? No, you haven't. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, you can lock the machines. Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors and keep them closed? Members, we will continue with our chaplain, but I want to remind you, I'll let you know for the first time, we're going to ask our photographer to go up in the gallery in just a few minutes so he can get a photo of all the red on the floor. The great dresses that we're here celebrating that Representative Carter has asked us to do today. So we'll do that. So if you'll stay on the floor, we have some important business that we need to tend to immediately after the chaplain, so you should be here anyway. But so if you'll remain, we'll take that photo. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain today will be introduced by the lady from the 147th House District, Representative Bethany Ballard. Representative Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. It's my honor to introduce my minister from Perry United Methodist Church, Tom Caruth. He's been our senior pastor for a couple of years now, and he and his wife, Shelley, have brought so much life and freshness into our church. They're the first couple we've had in well over a decade who have young children at our church, and I've enjoyed working with them in the children and the youth department. His girls are Holland and Olivia, who is here as my page today, Presley, and they have a very young son, 2-year-old Dax, who is wonderful. And I enjoy being in his wife Shelley's ladies' Sunday school class. They are a wonderful family of faith who live out their faith as a family. And Tom is a graduate of Duke University, which personally I find a little bit unfortunate since I went to the good basketball school up the road in Chapel Hill. Wow. He got his master's degree from Emory University, and I am so thankful that he is leading our church. And I hope you enjoy hearing from him as much as I enjoy hearing from him every Sunday morning. So it's my honor to introduce Tom Caruth.
Welcome. It's good to have
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members of the House. The only time I've been more nervous speaking is at my daughter's school. I spoke to all the 6th through 12th graders in the gym. And that was more nerve-wracking than you guys, but you're second. It's an honor to be here and represent Perry, Georgia. And we love Perry. We love our church. I love Bethany. She's incredible, and I hope you know how great she is, but she is such a leader in our community and in our church. I want to read a scripture. For those of you that are Christian, you know that our story is about Jesus, and he died on the cross. He rose from the dead. His disciples kind of look like bumbling fools, which I'm glad they leave that in, right? Because that's how I feel most of the time. And there was a lot of jockeying for position, and then Jesus would kind of put them in their place. Peter, James, and John are the big three, but even those guys would try to fight for chair of the committee of appropriations, right? They would. That doesn't happen anymore, right? They would fight for power, and Jesus had, of course, a different way of looking at power. Well, Peter, as you know, denies Jesus. At the worst moment, he falls flat on his face. Jesus predicted this would happen. And so after the resurrection, Peter and the others say, I'm going fishing. And maybe you know this story in John 21, and Jesus meets Peter on the beach. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Feed my sheep, feed my lambs, feed my sheep. You may remember this, but after those words, Jesus said to Peter, feed my sheep. Then verse 17 of John 21, feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, follow me. Peter turned and saw that the disciple whom Jesus loved was following them. This was the one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper and had said, Lord, who is going to betray you? When Peter saw him, he asked, Lord, what about him? Jesus answered, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You follow me. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. All the Episcopals and Catholics and Methodists know what to do at that moment. Sorry. I love that story so much. It's this great moment of redemption, and then right after it, Jesus is giving Peter the scoop. Hey, when you were young, You went where you wanted. You dressed yourself, and you did what you wanted. But as you get older, somebody else is going to make you go where you don't want to go. Anybody feel that way? Anybody feel like you're in the second half of life and you wake up and somebody's telling you where to go and it's not where you want to go? I know some of you already today have had to go places that you didn't want to go, and it's not even 10 o'clock, right? Or not even 11. Right? So I know you can relate to that. But of course, Jesus is talking about Peter is going to ultimately die like Jesus had to die on the cross. Peter was crucified as well. So he means this literally, but I also think it works in a spiritual sense. That as we grow, as we mature in our walk of life, in our calling, as we grow up, it's not all about what we want. We have to learn to do the things we don't want to do. I know that you're missing a beloved colleague today. And I can't imagine that, right? So it's in our minds, right, that life is short. Right? We know that we're only here for a little bit of time. Isn't it amazing after that beautiful moment on the beach of redemption, and he says, Peter, come follow me. And he says, when you were young and then when you're old. And then Peter, what's he say to that? Not, thank you, Lord. Not, I'm going to follow you. He said, what about him? Still jockeying for position. Peter and John had a little bit of a thing. And even at this moment, Peter's worried about the other guy. What about him? Looking over his shoulder. And what does Jesus say? Essentially, what about him? It's not about him. If I got plans for him, doesn't matter. It's about you. Follow me. A Jewish rabbi named Zusha. Before his death, Rabbi Zusha said, in the coming world, they will not ask me, why were you not Moses? They will ask me, why were you not Zusha? Another theologian, Oscar Wilde, said, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Friends, every one of you in this room I know is a leader. You've been sent here by your representatives, by your constituents, right? And you're doing great work. You are here for a purpose. Every single one of us has a calling, I believe, a divine calling that's led you to this moment. But we don't need you to be somebody else. Maybe you've got heroes in your life, at home, or heroes in politics that you would aspire to be like, and that's great. But you're not called to be somebody else. You're called to be you. God has a calling on your life that leads you to this moment. And so my prayer for you and for me today is that we won't look over our shoulder today and go, but well, what about them? What about her? What about him? God is calling you, and yes, it may include having someone else take you somewhere you don't necessarily want to go. But that's okay. He's got something for you to do. Would you pray with me this morning? As I pray, I want to quote one more theologian, Dr. Seuss. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Shout aloud, I am glad to be what I am. Thank goodness I'm not a ham or a clam or a dusty old jar of gooseberry jam. I am what I am, what a great thing to be. If I say so myself, happy every day to me. Dear God, thank you that you have called each one in this room. We have a breath in our lungs, and that is a gift. You have given us the gift of this day. And Lord, we want to do your will. We don't always know what that is. Humble us, oh God. I know that you know we are still just bumbling disciples. We still jockey for position. We still look over our shoulder at others. But Lord, help us today not to do that. Help us rather to look for you and your call to love you, to feed your sheep, to take care of your people who we have power to help. Lord, I just thank you for each person here. Lord, especially be with those who remember our fallen colleague. Lord, especially remember our 3 Georgians on this first day of Black History Month. Thank you for 3 soldiers who give their life for their country from Georgia. So, Lord, we remember the great sacrifices that are being made, and we know they do not go without your noticing and your honoring. We love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, everybody said, Amen. And now let's pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, that was good. The world according to Zeus.
Thank you so much.
Doorkeepers, you may unlock the doors. Members, you can join Pastor Tom in the South Annie room and greet him and have a photo. Legislative Day 14, we have some important information that you need right now. Members, if I can get your attention. You ready, Mr. Clerk? Members, if you'll take your seats. The unfortunate loss of Chairman Smith brings us to a decision here I would like you all to pay attention to. Mr. Clerk, will you read a resolution?
House Resolution 978, a resolution relative to meetings and adjournments of the General Assembly.
You approved this resolution a couple weeks ago, but we need to have a discussion today, and I'm going to recognize a gentleman from the 104th, the Majority Leader of this House, Leader F. Stration, to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Resolution 978 is an updated adjournment resolution for our legislative session as we continue to keep Chairman Smith's family in our prayers right now, and we are aware of the arrangements for Monday, which have been sent out. We have updated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've updated the proposed adjournment resolution, which would have us out of session this upcoming Monday, and we would then be in session on Friday, February 16th. Those are the only changes from the adjournment resolution that you previously passed. Mr. Speaker, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Leader, that 16th, that was a day we were out, so we just backfill.
Yes, sir, that's correct. All right, if there are no questions, I will yield the well. Thank you.
You do have a question.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to yield.
Representative Reese is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that this entire body wants to have an opportunity to remember a giant in our community, especially Columbus, who gave so much to the state of Georgia? And isn't it true that we appreciate your leadership in changing this schedule so that we can all attend?
I know that every member of this body recognizes the tremendous impact that Chairman Smith had on every Georgian, and he's truly a legislative giant, and it's appropriate and proper for the House and Senate to agree to modify the adjournment resolution. I thank the gentleman for the question. Mr. Speaker, if there's nothing further, I'll yield the well. Would ask members for their favorable consideration. Thank you.
No further questions. Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Majority Leader is recognized for a motion. For what purpose do you rise, Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, to make a motion,
State your motion.
I move that the resolution just passed be immediately transmitted to the State Senate.
Representative Estration moves that House Resolution 978 be immediately transmitted to the Senate. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Hey, Kate. Kate, what do you want us to do? You want us all to stand up and look at you? Okay, y'all. Kate's in the gallery. She's going to get us a photo. So members, if you'll move to your seats, that would be great. Members on the back row, you need to move forward. Move forward. You know, cameras don't take pictures around corners or anything over balconies. So if you want to be in the photo, you need to move forward. A little more. How about that, Kate? Are we getting close now? If they haven't moved, don't worry about it. You take the shot. I think we're good. Thanks, Kate. What a great crowd y'all are. Chairman Tarvin is recognized, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits. Chairman Tarvin.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal from the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And I would like to just everybody to think about this one. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value.
Be yourself. I think we just heard that message and you just confirmed it, Chairman Tarvin. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. Ready, Mr. Clerk? Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative session of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business in the first part of the period unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading and reference of House bills and resolutions, second reading of bills and resolutions, reports of standing committees, third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions, first reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions, morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Mr. Clerk, first reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 1094 by Representative Vance of the 133rd, Jackson of the 128th. A bill being titled Act to amend the Act creating a Board of Commissioners of Baldwin County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1095 by Representative Vance of the 133rd, Jackson of the 128th. A bill being titled Act to create a Board of Elections and Registration for Baldwin County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1096 by Representative Washburn of the 144th, Werkheiser of the 157th, Evans of the 89th, and Powell of the 33rd. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions of professions and businesses.
Regulated industries.
House Bill 1097 by Representative Vance of the 133rd, Mathis of the 149th, Carpenter of the 4th, Hitchens of the 161st, Lumsden of the 12th. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 40.5.10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to driver education training courses.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 1098 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Stevens of the 164th, Newton of the 127th, Jackson of the 128th, and Townsend of the 179th. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 43 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to Medicare supplement insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 1099 by Representative Huddleston of the 72nd, Burchett of the 176th, Cannon of the 172nd, Campbell of the 135th, and Rhodes of the 124th. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 7 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to criminal trespass and damage to property.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 1100 by Representative New of the 64th, Corbett of the 176th, Prince of the 132nd, Smith of the 138th, McLean of the 109th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to motor vehicles and traffic.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 1101 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Camp of the 135th, Hagan of the 156th, Cox of the 28th, Scoggins of the 14th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 2 of Article 15, Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Fair Business Practices Act of 1975.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 1102 by Representative Moptown of the 17th, Smith of the 18th, Leverett of the 123rd, Daniel of the 117th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 13 and Title 17 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to criminal extradition.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 1103 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Williams of the 168th, Reese of the 140th, and Gladney of the 130th. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to income taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 1104 by Representative Crawford of the 84th, Hughley of the 141st, McLean of the 109th, Douglas of the 78th, and Cox of the 28th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 6, Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
House Bill 1105 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Collins of the 71st, Bottom of the 73rd, Donahue of the 31st, and Barton of the 5th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 42 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to penal institutions.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 1106 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Stevens of the 164th, Jackson of the 165th, Gilliard of the 162nd, and Hitchens of the 161st. Bill be titled an act to authorize the municipal court of the city of Tybee Island to charge a technology fee.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1107 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Jones of the 25th, Mitchell of the 88th, Saints of the 180th, and Daniel of the 117th. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 1 of Article 6 of Chapter 3, Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to the rights and privileges of patients.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 1108 by Representative Fry, the 122nd, Gaines, the 120th, Reeves, the 99th, Washburn, the 144th, Howley, the 116th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 1 of Chapter 3, Title 8 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to housing authorities.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1109 by Representative Crawford of the 84th, Oliver of the 82nd, Evans of the 57th, Miller of the 62nd, Willis of the 55th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 5 of Chapter 3, Title 9 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to tolling of limitations.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1110 by Representative Crawford of the 84th, Oliver of the 82nd, Kendrick of the 95th, Miller of the 62nd, Willis of the 55th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 16.595 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the offense of violating family violence orders and penalties.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 1111 by Representative Crawford of the 84th, Howell of the 50th, Miller of the 62nd, Oliver of the 82nd, Willis of the 55th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 4, Chapter 11, Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to carrying and possession of firearms.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 1112 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, LaHood of the 175th, Baird of the 24th, Anderson of the 10th, Horner of the 3rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2, Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to elections and primaries generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Resolution 947 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Jackson of the 165th, and Westbrook of the 163rd. A resolution designating the Weeping Time Cultural Heritage Corridor as an official cultural and heritage corridor in Georgia.
Transportation.
Senate Bill 105 by Senator Walker the 20th, Robertson the 29th, Anna DeVarte the 31st, Goodman the 8th, Anderson the 24th, and others. A bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 47.4.101 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to retirement benefits.
Retirement.
Senate Bill 328 by Senator Albers the 56th, Robertson the 29th. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to retirement and pensions.
Retirement.
Senate Bill 335 by Senator Albers the 56th, Robertson the 29th, Kirkpatrick the 32nd, Strickland the 17th, Dixon the 45th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 16.6.22 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to incest.
Judiciary non-civil.
Senate Bill 369 by Senator Burns the 23rd, Albers of the 56th, Robertson the 29th, Barron of the 42nd, Summers the 13th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 2, Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to registration and licensing of motor vehicles. Last one on the Senate.
Motor vehicles.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1078 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Cooper of the 45th, Huckins of the 27th, Newton of the 127th, Washburn of the 144th, and others. A bill relating to services for the aging. House Bill 1079 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Stevens of the 164th, Hitchens of the 161st. A bill relating to abatement of nuisances. House Bill 1080 by Representative Frazier of the 126th. A bill to authorize the City of Waynesboro to exercise all redevelopment and other powers under the Redevelopment Powers Law. House Bill 1081 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd, Cooper of the 45th, Hatchett of the 155th, Silcox of the 53rd, Maynor of the 56th, and others. A bill relating to control of hazardous conditions, preventable disease, and metabolic disorders. House Bill 1082 by Representative Maynor of the 56th. A bill relating to a brief period of quiet reflection. House Bill 1083 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Jones of the 25th. A bill relating to adult residential mental health services licensing. House Bill 1084 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, a bill to create the Board of Elections and Registrations for Chattooga County. House Bill 1085 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Tran of the 80th, Holcomb of the 81st, a bill to create the City of Chamblee Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 1086 by Representative Persinger of the 119th, abstention of the 104th, gains of the 120th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Barrow County School District ad valorem taxes. House Bill 1087 by Representative Persinger of the 119th, abstention of the 104th, gains of the 120th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Barrow County School District ad valorem taxes. House Bill 1088 by Representative Persinger of the 119th, abstention of the 104th, gains of the 120th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Barrow County School District ad valorem taxes. House Bill 1089 by Representative Hong of the 103rd, Ballinger of the 23rd, Martin of the 49th, Hitchens of the 161st, Crow of the 118th, a bill relating to technical and adult education. House Bill 1090 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Wiedauer of the 121st, Gullett of the 19th, Crow of the 118th, Hutchinson of the 106th, a bill relating to the imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits relative to income taxes. House Bill 1091 by Representative Neal of the 79th, Douglas of the 78th, Hawley of the 116th, Scott of the 76th, Bell of the 75th, a bill to amend an act providing the Chief Magistrate of Clayton County. House Bill 1092 by Representative Frazier of the 126th, Prince of the 132nd, Gladney of the 130th, Howard of the 129th, a bill relating to local authorization regulation of sales of alcoholic beverages on Sundays. House Bill 1093 by Representative Clark of the 100th, Perkle of the 169th, Blackman of the 146th, Corbett of the 174th, Bonner of the 73rd, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to agriculture. House Resolution 938 by Representative Hughley of the 141st, Reese of the 140th, Buckner of the 137th, Smith of the 138th. Resolution recognizing Representative Moretta Mitchell Taylor and dedicating an interchange in her memory. House Resolution 939 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Hughley of the 141st, Buckner of the 137th, Smith of the 139th, Mitchell of the 88th. Resolution recognizing Representative Calvin Smyrie and dedicating an interchange in his honor. House Resolution 940 by Representative Mitchell of the 88th and Campbell of the 35th. Resolution ratifying an amendment to the United States Constitution. Senate Bill 85 by Senator Rhett of the 33rd, Williams of the 25th, Payne of the 54th, Duggan of the 30th, Jones of the 10th, and others. A bill relating to service creditable towards retirement benefits. Senate Bill 151 by Senator James of the 35th, Harbison of the 15th, Anderson of the 43rd, Sims of the 12th, Say of the 34th, and others. A bill relating to holidays and observances. Senate Bill 348 by Senator Williams of the 25th, Watson of the 1st, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Anderson of the 24th, Walker of the 3rd of the 20th, and others. A bill relating to notification of suspicious or unusual death, court-ordered medical examiner's inquiry, and written report of inquiry. Senate Bill 352 by Senator Anderson of the 24th, Alvarez of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Williams of the 25th, Payne of the 54th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions relative to motor vehicle equipment and inspection. Senate Bill 366 by Senator Hufstetler of the 52nd, Tillery of the 19th, Dulles Hall of the 27th, Albers of the 56th, Still of the 48th, and others. A bill relating to the General Assembly. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees the clerk will read.
Representative John LaHood of the 175th District, Chairman of the Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has added under its consideration the following bills to the House and has reported back to the same House with the following recommendation. House Bill 409 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 585 do pass. House Bill 974 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 977 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1044 do pass. House Resolution 303 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative John LaHood of 175th District, Chairman. Yes, sir. Representative Chuck Martin of the
Proceed.
Representative Chuck Martin, the 49th District Chairman on Committee on Higher Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 970 do pass. House Bill 982 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Stephen Saints, the 180th District Chairman on Committee on Special Rules, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Special Rules has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1026 do pass. House Bill 1034 do pass. House Bill 1048 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Stephen Staines of the 180th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman on Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 956 do pass. House Bill 1012 do pass. House Bill 1016 do pass. House Bill 1042 do pass. House Bill 1061 do pass. House Bill 1062 do pass. House Bill 1067 do pass. House Bill 1071 do pass. House Bill 1074 do pass. House Bill 1003 do pass. 1004 do pass. House Bill 1025 do pass. House Bill 1068 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman on Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under its consideration the following bill of the House and has instructed me to report the same back to the House and the following recommendation. House Bill 947 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunther of the 8th District, Chairman. Representative Jay Collins, the 71st District Chairman on Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 925 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jay Collins, the 71st District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Well, when the chaplain started talking about Dr. Zeus this morning, I lost my place because I got to thinking about the wisdom of Dr. Zeus. And I forgot to recognize Chair Lady Cooper, who's invited our doctor of the day today, Dr. John Johnson, who's down in the medical aid station. If you need Dr. Johnson, certainly he's there, and he would be glad to serve you, and we appreciate Dr. Johnson taking his time to come here and be here for us. Okay, members, we have a local calendar. We have a local calendar, and we will have the third reading and passage of this, hopefully, uncontested local calendar. For what purpose does Chair Lady Camp rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to remove HB 1025 from the local calendar and recommit this bill to the Intergovernmental Coordination Committee.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
House Bill 1025 by Representative Ridley, the 22nd, and others to be entitled an act to amend an act providing a homestead exemption from Cherokee County School District ad valorem taxes.
On the lady's motion that HB 1025 be withdrawn from the local calendar and recommitted to the Intergovernmental Coordination Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Members, we have 4 bills on the local calendar related to homestead exemption and require a recorded 2/3 roll call vote for passage. Mr. Clerk, will you read the local calendar?
House Bill 956 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Conasauga Judicial Circuit. House Bill 1012 by Representative Williams, the 148th, Wilcox County. House Bill 1016 by Representative Bruce, the 61st City of South Fulton. House Bill 1042 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th, Gwinnett County. House Bill 1061 by Representative Lumpson of the 12th, City of Somerville. House Bill 1062 by Representative Lumpson of the 12th, Chattooga County. House Bill 1067 by resident of Lumsden of the 12th, Town of Tryon. House Bill 1071 by resident of Chocos of the 151st, Terrell County. House Bill 1074 by resident of Jones of the 25th, Forsyth County. House Bill 1003 by resident of Donahue of the 31st, Jackson County. House Bill 1004 by resident of Donahue of the 31st, Jackson County. House Bill 1068 by resident of Donahue of the 31st, City of Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none is so ordered. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar without HB 1025? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the local calendar, the yeas are 164, the nays are 0. And of course, we voted without HB 1025. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Members, this family is hurting. Members, I have your attention, please. This entire family is hurting, but I know of not one of our members that was any more special to Chairman Richard Smith than a lady who's been with him for years. Pam Lewis, he loved you. I know you loved him. And you were there for him each and every day. And I wanted Pam to come up here. I wanted y'all, she and I are a little bit short in stature, but I wanted y'all to see her. And so we could let her know how much we care for her, how much we're praying for her, and the family. But Pam, we appreciate you, and I know that Richard held you in very high esteem because you were always there, and you always had him ready, and you always had his back. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
We're moving on to morning orders. Thank you, Pam, for being here with us today. And thank you, members. We're going to move on to morning orders. We're going to recognize Chairman Mac Jackson, Floor Leader Lauren McDonald. We'll have a quick, and the other Rural Development Council Chairman, the Dean of this House, Chairman Gerald Green. We're going to have a video, I believe, and some other friends will join him. It will be self-explanatory, but I'm going to ask the clerk to read a caption to a resolution. Mr. Clerk.
House Resolution 966 by Representative Jackson, the 128th, McDonald, the 26th, Hughley, the 141st, Stevens, the 164th, Green to the 154th, and others. A resolution recognizing and commending the Atlanta Fire Department.
Chairman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we had a fire at the Landmark on January 17th. And we're here to honor the firefighters of Atlanta, but we're going to let Floor Leader Lawrence McDonald introduce some of them.
Thank you, Representative Jackson. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, brother firefighters, it gives me great pleasure to be here today as one of them and a representative. I've done some epic things in my life. I got married, had a couple kids. I like being here, but I love being a fireman for 27 years. And I want to take a point of personal privilege. Chief Roman, stand up. This guy I mentored him when he first became a fireman, and now he's a battalion chief for the city of Atlanta. I'm proud of you, young man, really am. Mac Jackson?
The Landmark Caucus has a video that we want you to see from the fire on January 17th, if you'll play the video. We're here to thank the Atlanta Fire Department for all they did that night. They also brought a MARTA bus and set it on Piedmont Avenue so that people could come in out of the cold. How thoughtful can you be when fire affects people's lives? Dean Green wants to say something now.
Thank you, Chairman Jackson. Thank you to the Atlanta Fire Department. It's not often that we get to say thank you to the individuals who put their lives on the line every day serving the people of this state. Thank y'all for what you're doing. God bless y'all, and thank you for what you did for the people that live in the Landmark.
Y'all stand.
We want you to know that not only does the Landmark Caucus thank you, but this whole House thank you for the job that you do for the people in Atlanta. And as us visitors coming up here in January to March, we appreciate that we can call on you and be protected in every instant in life. Thank you so very much. God bless each and every one of you. Mr. Speaker, we yield the well.
Chief and firefighters, I was not really sure about the extent of that blaze with this group. They said they had a fire. I thought it may have been on the stove, Mac, but that was quite a blaze. Thank you for what y'all do. Thank you. As we escape danger, y'all run to confront danger and protect us. Thank you so much. We're so proud to have you here with us today. Thank you. Yeah. Gentlemen, if you will make your way down to the third floor, we can welcome you outside the anteroom and you can come get some photos if you have time. We'd love to do that. Leader Beverly, Representative Paris, the entire Bib delegation. Macon Day at the Capitol, awesome day. Good stuff. Give the gentleman and the lady and the gentleman in the your attention house.
David Dance is up there, right there.
Hey y'all, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Macon Day, and that's a great thing for the people of this august body. So we've got some people up in the stands. If you all will look up there, great folks. Leadership Macon is here. Also, our chamber is here. So you'll see them out in the halls. So greet them and let them know that they're very welcome here because we run this place. And the other thing is, you all will have a bag from the city of Macon, from our chamber, and we just thank you for all that you do. Thank you, sir.
Very good, very good, very good, very good.
Hope you have a great Macon Day. Thanks for being here. A great city and a great county. We appreciate the members, but we appreciate what Macon and Bibb County means to our state. Chair Lady Mathiak, we're ready for you.
Where's Josh? Where's Chairman Bonner? He was going to come up here with me. I want to honor today my chiropractors. I'm the only chiropractor here in the house, and today is Chiropractic Day. It's the best day of your life, so. Anyways, I guess they didn't make it, but they're downstairs on the second floor. Please stop by and say hello. I would love for you to meet some of them. They've come from all over the state. Another thing that I want to honor today is Judge Thompson from Fayette County. There he is. And he's got some interns with him. He's one of my favorite judges, and I'm so proud to have him here today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Oh, one thing.
Chairman Mathiak, I had a question, if you will return. So, you're a doctor of chiropractic medicine, right?
Yes, sir.
Does the minority leader hold a dual certificate?
Dual certificate.
I mean, I knew he was I thought he was an eye doctor. I didn't know he could adjust your back too. Just checking. No, he was supporting. I got you.
Some of my chiropractors are coming in right now, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here.
Welcome to the House. Good to have y'all. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks again, Speaker.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Okay. Here's the one I've been waiting for. Representative Doreen Carter is recognized to talk about something. Representative Carter, let's hear it. Members, this is important. Give your attention to the lady in the well.
Well, thank you. First, I'd like to acknowledge our heart health advocates that are up in the well. You guys will stand in the gallery. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you all for wearing red today, and definitely feel free to join me if you like. As I shared, this is the American Heart Association's 100th year of advocacy, and I have a resolution and that I'll read really fast. Recognizing February 1st as Wear Red Day and for other purposes, whereas cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in women, claiming more lives than all forms of cancer combined, and yet only 44% of women recognize that cardiovascular disease is their greatest health threat. And whereas among females 20 years and older, nearly 45% are living with some form of cardiovascular disease, and less than half of women entering pregnancy in the United States have optimal cardiovascular health. And whereas cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of maternal death in the United States, or more simply put, heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms. And whereas overall 10 to 20% of women will have a health issue during pregnancy, in the presence of high blood pressure, preeclampsia, and gestational diabetes, okay, during pregnancy, and greatly increases women's risk for developing cardiovascular disease later in life. Whereas cardiovascular disease, most cardiac and stroke events can be prevented through education and lifestyle changes such as moving more, eating smart, and managing blood pressure. And whereas in 2020, stroke caused the death of 90,627 females, approximately 56.5% of the total stroke deaths. Whereas women are often less likely to receive bystander CPR because rescuers fear accusation of inappropriate touching and sexual assault or potentially injuring the victim. And whereas there are significantly biological differences between men and women, and clinical trials have not always adequately enrolled women or analyzed sex-specific differences in the data. As of 2020, only 38% of cardiovascular clinical research trial participants are women. We got to do something about that. And whereas since 2004, the American Heart Association Go Red movement has addressed the awareness and clinical care gaps of women's greatest health threat, cardiovascular disease, and on the cusp of the American Heart Association's 100th anniversary, it continues to make bold moves to save lives and pioneer scientific discoveries. Now therefore be it resolved that by the House of Representatives that the members of this body recognize February 1st, 2024 as Wear Red Day and encourage all citizens to raise awareness about cardiovascular disease, as well as show their support for women and the fight against heart disease by wearing red. So again, thank you for wearing red. Yes, thank you guys. Mr. Speaker, we yield the well, and in 2:30 at 12, we'll have a heart-healthy lunch for you all, so don't forget to come down. And you have your pens on your desk, too. I officially yield the well now. Yeah.
You did a good job of getting members here in red. There are a lot of red ties here, and so you did a great job of that. And thank you for what y'all do. Such an important health concern for Georgians and for all Americans, and thank you for being very proactive. We're glad to have y'all in the House, and we appreciate the House supporting this very important concern that we have for our health. We have another group in the gallery that needs recognizing. Let's see, we have the birthday boy from yesterday, Representative Lehman Franklin, and Chairman Parrish for a morning order. Give the gentleman in the well your attention. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to take this opportunity, Butch and I do, to recognize Bullock leadership that's in the House right now, the People's House. If you guys could stand up, you're all in the balcony. Yeah, there they are over there on the left-hand side. Welcome to the House, and if you guys see them today, please welcome them. They're a great, outstanding group of leaders in our community, and we're thankful to have y'all here. Thank y'all.
Always good to have home folks up here. Thank y'all for making the journey, and we appreciate you. We'll see you later. That concludes our morning orders. We'll move on to the rules calendar members. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to HB 905, Mr. Clerk?
House Bill 905 by Representative Reeves, the 99th, and Roberts, the 52nd, Lever, the 123rd, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 66 and Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to zoning procedures as pertaining to counties and municipal corporations, so as to repeal provisions authorizing administrative officers to exercise zoning powers. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Every bill's important. We have some important work to consider. Work's been done on this bill, so let's give the gentleman your attention. If you have some, there's other important discussions going on, so if you will, there's an anteroom, take it out there. Representative Reeves, you're recognized. I think you have their attention now. You're an attention getter, so get up there and tell us about HB 905.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House colleagues, if House Bill 905 looks familiar, if the contents of the bill look familiar, that's because you voted in favor of it last year as part of a omnibus local government bill with 7 or 8 topics. When it went over the Senate passed 2 or 3 of them. And so this bill is brought back this year as a freestanding bill. It passed out of the Governmental Affairs Committee. It relates somewhat to the petition for review statutes that Chairman Leverett shepherded through a few years ago, as well as the zoning procedures law statute that, or amendment that Representative Roberts shepherded through in 2022. What this bill does in our state, which is #1 place to do business, there are a lot of permits that are needed in construction. From the 1970s until the 2022 law, permits were normally handled by an employee in the zoning office, a staff member, as opposed to the elected officials. There was some language in the 2022 bill that has led local governments to believe that they are required to send permits that normally had been handled administratively through the zoning process. This bill would make it a choice of the local governments whether to send permits through the full zoning process, but it clarifies that an administrative permit can still be handled at the administrative level and does not have to go through the zoning process. I yield for questions, Mr. Speaker.
Obviously, they remember from last year, their representatives. You have no questions.
Thank you. I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Jason Ridley rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, with the passage of this bill, would this help Biden's Build Back Better get going? Because we've been waiting 3 years and hadn't seen nothing happen yet. Is that not true?
I'm sure the gentleman has his opinion about a lot of things, including that one. Not sure it all holds water, but it's your opinion. You're entitled to that. All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, House Bill 905, the yeas are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 985? 985.
House Bill 985 by Representative Martin of the 49th and Campbell of the 15th, be entitled an Act to amend Article 7, Chapter 3, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to scholarships, loans, and grants so as to abolish the Georgia Higher Education Assistance Corporation. This bill having referred to the Committee on Higher Education, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Martin is recognized to present the bill, House Bill 985.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the House. You will recognize this one as well. This was House Bill 319 last year. We passed unanimously, I believe, out of the House. It picked up some baggage in the Senate, which caused the governor to have to veto it. This sunsets a corporation within the board of the Student Finance, the Higher Education Assistance Corporation. Let me tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't affect anybody getting a loan. It doesn't affect anybody repaying a loan. It doesn't affect any operations. The loan portfolio was sold in 2013. That was paid out, and the business, all the business closed in 2023. This corporation does no business, and by sunsetting it, it will, they don't have to do a blank audit every year. It will save the state money, and in fact, they can return over $25 million to the state for use for educational purposes. Again, we passed this as House Bill 319 last year unanimously. With that, I would ask the House's favorable consideration. I've been brief. If there is a question, I'll try to answer it. Not trying to hide anything, just trying to move us along on Thursday.
Gentleman has no questions.
I yield the well, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlemen, has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? The clerk will all members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 985, the yeas are 166, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Members, we have a couple of motions. What purpose does Chairman Martin rise? Do you have a motion to move a bill?
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. I would like to move House Resolution 804 from the Committee Judiciary to Government Affairs. That both chairmen have agreed.
That may be a wise move on your part. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
House Resolution 804 by Representative Martin of the 49th and others proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to change the date by which temporary loans for counties, municipalities, and other political subdivisions of the state are payable in full.
On the gentleman's motion that House Resolution 804 be withdrawn from the Judiciary Committee and recommitted to the Governmental Affairs Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. For what purpose does Chairman Saines rise?
To make a motion that a bill be moved from
State that motion.
To make a motion that a bill be moved from from Ways and Means to small business. Both chairmen are in agreement. House Bill 1020.
House Bill 1020. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
House Bill 1020 by Representative Saints of the 180th and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 48.740.1 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to tax credits for business enterprises in less developed areas.
On the gentleman's motion that HB 1020 be withdrawn from the Ways and Means Committee and recommitted to the Small Business Development Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Richard Smith. Honoring the life and memory of Sergeant Brianna Alexandria Moffett. Honoring the life and memory of Dexter Scott King. Recognizing and commending several living legends of music theater in celebration of Black History Month. Recognizing February 20th, 2024 is Georgia Hearing Day at the State Capitol. Congratulating the Cedar Grove High School Saints football team of the DeKalb County School District for winning the 2023 GHSA Class 3A State Football Championship. Recognizing the 50th anniversary of Jackson County's EMS operations. Recognizing February 5th, 2024 is Georgia Arts Day in Georgia. Recognizing and commending Abel Mabel Thomas. Recognizing and commending the contributions of the Asian American Advocacy Fund and Asian American Advancing Justice. Recognizing February 5th, 2024 is Effingham County Day at the State Capitol, and saluting the Effingham County Chamber of Commerce. Recognizing and commending the Morehouse School of Medicine for providing opportunities through its physician assistant program. Recognizing and commending Mrs. Mildred Schmeltz, the 2024 Distinguished Older Georgian. Recognizing and commending Gloria Elizabeth Freeman, recognizing and commending the Georgia State University Athletic Department for its accomplishments in athletics and academics in 2023, and recognizing February 12, 2024 as Transit Day at the State Capitol, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? Chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We're going to move on to afternoon orders. But before I do that, I'm going to recognize a veteran of this body, and I want y'all to listen up as this gentleman comes to the well for a point of personal privilege. Members, if you'll give Representative Al Williams your undivided attention, he and I would be most appreciative.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes reluctantly I rise because sometimes things are taken offensively that are not intended to be offensive. I love this house, and I love the traditions of this house and the protocol of this house. And one in particular, there are a couple of that it was at the discretion only of the speaker, like most. This, well, during a session, is at the discretion of the speaker to recognize who's in the well. And when you want to accompany someone in the well, usually it's because you've been invited to do so by the person who is speaking. And of course, the speaker has discretion, if he does not know, to say only the person is recognized. But when you get here, you never ever stand to the front of the person who has the well. It is a break of protocol if you stand forward. Because if you were in the military, you never stand forward of the commander when he's talking. From this point over is done. From there, it's back. Never here, never up here, never up here. And I know we want to get up here and be as near to the front, but if you weren't the first person up here, you can't be on the front row. You literally have to go until it runs out. And we run out of space, that means you really don't need to be up here. I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. Never to the front of the speaker. Never. This way back. And one thing I've liked, Representative Houston, I'm going to say this to the speaker, it's in fun only. I spent many, many years enjoying a tradition that was strictly at discretion of the speaker. There's no rule on this. And that was when the speaker, when the majority leader moves for the adjournment that day, and the speaker approves it and carries the motion, runs down from there, runs to the front of the podium, bows to the representatives, and then runs out the door. Now, that required a little running ability, But that was a beautiful thing for over 100 years in this House. But that was strictly at the discretion of the Speaker. The Speaker has chosen not to run, and sometimes when I talk to him, I know why. Some things, and this is only said in love, because all I know, I learned from people who knew. And then my opinion doesn't mean anything if they knew and gave me good advice. Many people were not told about the protocol of this well. So as you're told, as you learn, you do better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for this moment. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative Williams. And you're right. That protocol is in our rules, but more importantly, it's in our tradition. And the reason it's in our tradition is it's respect. And I'm going to ask all of the members to show that respect, and I'll do a better job as well. So thank you, Representative Williams. Members, you have about 2.5 minutes. I'm going to turn the light on you at 2 minutes. And so we're going to move through because we have several of you today, but I want to give the first representative, Representative Crawford, to lead off, and I'll give him Representative Crawford. All right. Members, if you'll join with Representative Crawford, give him your attention, if you'll stand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to my family and friends in the gallery. It's been a very tough week for all of us, and the scripture says that blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And as I stand here today, I pray for everyone's comfort throughout this week. And it's with a heavy heart that I tell you that my friend and mentor and high school track and field coach, a DeKalb County and state legend, died last night. My coach, Napoleon Cobb, as you see on that screen, was one of the greatest men and ever coaches to ever live. And I hold that coaches, that title of coach, is one of the most prestigious titles because day in and day out, you have to motivate people to do their best and to continue to reach certain peaks that they never thought that they could. He was masterful at that. The picture that you see is of Coach Cobb in the Senate chamber, taken years ago after he was inducted into the Georgia High School Track and Field Hall of Fame, and he deserved that honor. His coaching resume included, but wasn't limited to, 11 state titles, a national state title. He coached multiple individual state champions, and I was blessed to be in that number, and multiple Olympic champions. Collectively, these champions won approximately 10 medals. I'm gonna ask for your indulgence and tell you a funny story before I take my seat. When I wanted to run for office, I wanted to get his support and advice. Who better to tell you how to run a political race than a track and field coach? And so I said to him, Coach, I want to be a state rep. And he says, is that the place where they honored me? I said, well, Coach, I'll be in the House chamber, not the Senate chamber. And he says, okay. I was reeling him in. He said, will you be an attorney and a politician? I thought I lost him. I know that that's not the best combination all the time. But he says, if you win, just make sure that you mentor all of the kids in DeKalb County because they need to see someone that looks like them that's doing the work, working as a politician, as an attorney. And the last thing that he said to me, and I want to share this with you, something that I live by. He says to me, Omari, I don't care who runs against you. If I've taught you nothing else, it is to focus on your race. We don't worry about who's going to get into a political race. When you look into another person's lane, you slow down. And so, Coach, thank you very much. I'm going to live by that. Coach, you had a hell of a run, but I got it from here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I ask for a moment of silence for my coach's honor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative Crawford. I'm sure that he saw your success. He pointed out what a great example you are. I appreciate your example and appreciate that special bond we have with our coaches. Thank you. Representative Roberts. Representative Shay Roberts is recognized for an order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I want to wish you all a very happy St. Bridget's Day. Ireland recently established February 1st as a new public holiday celebrating St. Bridget and the creativity and achievements of women, trying to give a little balance to the celebration of St. Patrick's Day. So this year, consulates and embassies around the world are hosting events to mark the day. Last night, I was honored to participate in Atlanta's celebration with Quive, our Consul General, and Senator Kirkpatrick. We talked about women in politics. They had a Grammy-nominated soloist perform, Maeve. It was a really nice evening. So for those of you who don't know, Bridget was a pagan goddess, and then her namesake later became the patron saint of Bridget. She has a strong presence in my family as my great-grandmother, great-aunt, mother, and daughter all share her namesake. She was a woman who stood for helping others, empowering women, caring for the environment, and legend has it, St. Bridget turned dirty water into beer and managed to share a single pot of ale with her entire parish of 18 churches. So I hope you will all raise a pint to St. Bridget today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You learn some really cool things in this house. I never knew about St. Bridget. Thank you, Representative. Representative Holly and Representative Franklin are recognized for an afternoon order. Oh, Representative Parrish, Chairman Parrish, and Representative Holly. And, all three of y'all. Good. Three Musketeers here. I'm going to be interested to see this one.
If, per the careful instruction we have, gentlemen, are you taking your places? Okay, thank you. Today, we wish a happy heavenly birthday tribute to Bullock County's own Dr. Layla Alice Daughtry Denmark, who was known as America's oldest practicing physician in pediatrics. A graduate of Tift College and the Medical College of Georgia, she became the third woman to graduate from the Medical College of Georgia with a doctorate in 1928. Leela went on to be the first intern at Eggleston Hospital for Children in Atlanta and admitted the very first patient at Eggleston. She worked the segregated wards at Grady Hospital, tending to poor African-American patients, and later worked at Eggleston Hospital before starting her very own private practice. Her published research helped develop the vaccine for the whooping cough. Dr. Denmark ran a medical office out of a farmhouse, charging, get this, just $10 for the very first visit and $8 for every visit thereafter for over 70 years. Several editions of Dr. Denmark Said It offered her timeless wisdom, her secret to living to become 114 years old. She believed that consuming cow's milk was harmful. She recommended children and adults drink only water and eat fresh fruit rather than drinking fruit juices. So, if you are able-bodied, healthy, please join us in wishing a happy heavenly birthday to this great Georgian with a hearty hand clap of praise. Thank you.
Thank you for that, representatives. That was what a great legacy, Dr. Denmark from down in Bullock County. It's a good day for Leadership Bullock to be here. Bullock County being recognized. Good stuff. Excuse me. Members, before we exit the chamber, some of you may get out, we're going to inject an announcement here. Chairman of Appropriations that we heard about earlier in the message, so you were successful there. Chairman Matt Hatchett is recognized to let us give some vital information.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will not be near as eloquent as the previous two afternoon orders or as the pastor of the day who I actually have known since he was in diapers. So that's why he had to get me. Since we will not be back formally together until Tuesday morning, the Appropriations Committee will begin meeting at 7 a.m. Tuesday morning to begin going over the AFY 24 budget. We will vote later around 9:30 on that, and then the budget will be in rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wanted to make sure no one got out before we heard that announcement. Representative Ken Vance is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say a few things about Black History Month, which starts today. This movement began in Chicago in 1915 with Mr. Carter G. Woodson. February was chosen as the time to begin this celebration because it was the month wherein Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were born on the 12th and 14th, respectively. Fast forward to 1975, when President Gerald Ford became the first president to urge Americans to recognize Black History Week. This week was expanded to the entire month of February in 1976 and was established by federal legislation 10 years later. I'd like to close with 4 sayings that, once I heard them, have left an indelible mark upon me. First, and we all know this one, I have a dream that one day, you know the rest of it. Number 2, from Malcolm X, if you have no critics, you'll likely have no success. Number 3, can't we all just get along? Rodney King. And last but certainly not least, from Augusta, Georgia's own James Brown, I got soul, and I'm super bad. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Leader, it's going to have to get better than that. I'm going to tell you what. Oh, boy. Thank you, Representative Vance. That was awesome. Representative Lisa Hagan, you want to follow that? Representative Hagan is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for letting me follow that. Colleagues, today we've been celebrating a cause that is near and dear to our hearts, heart health. I know some of our colleagues seem like they don't have a heart, but there is one in there somewhere down deep, and we want to take care of those no matter how near to the surface or hidden those hearts may be. As Rep. Carter pointed out earlier today, heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. It's a silent adversary that often goes unnoticed until it's far too late. But today we've had the opportunity to raise awareness and remind Georgians to prioritize their heart health. And we're all in a unique position in here serving under the Gold Dome to send a powerful message that we stand united on certain things, and today we've been able to do that. So if you are read today and you would like to, I'd like to invite you to join us upon adjournment on the steps just out here for a group photo of everybody wearing red. Kate will be taking that photo, and I hope that we can do that together so that we have something to show our solidarity on this important issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's the South Steps? Yes, ma'am. Y'all heard the order. Representative Carolyn Hughley and Representative Inga Willis recognized for an afternoon order.
I'm sure you have them.
She's on the way.
She's on the way, yes.
Representative Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. I know that you all will be in Columbus with us on Monday, but for those of you who are still in and around the Capitol, Monday is Links Day at the Capitol. And as we focus on African American History Month, the Links is one of the oldest volunteer organizations that's dedicated to ensuring the culture and economic survival of African Americans. And these women come from all over the state of Georgia, and they're from your community as well. There's a reception on Sunday, February the 4th, at the Knowles Conference Center at Georgia State University College of Law from 5 until 8 p.m. So if you're in town, stop by Sunday afternoon between 5 and 8. If you are here at the Capitol, they will be in the Sloppy Floyd building from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. So it's Links Day at the Capitol. All of your constituents will be here from all over Georgia. And if you know some of the members that are coming, leave them a note. We've already told them about the unfortunate passing of Representative Smith, so they know where most of us will be. So thank you so much, and we hope those of you who can, please join us.
Thank you, representatives. Representative Moore is recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I said I wasn't going to say anything, but I've had meetings in my office with at least 6 of seniors from my district that have come to talk to me about a very serious issue that I wasn't even aware of. The Georgia Department of Community Health established a program called Medicaid Estate Recovery Program. And these are programs where you can have medical services in your home, but upon your death, they take your home. And I felt that I was very upset to hear this because it puts their family, especially their husband or children, out of their home. But what bothers me the most at this particular moment is that if they don't sign this paper that has gone out in January to sign over the deed to their homes, their medical insurance quits, which means they have none. And so I want to bring the attention to Ms. Christie, one of the constituents in my district. She is a paraplegic. If she does not have services, she won't be able to get out of the bed. No one will take her feeding or urine tube out of her body and clean it on a daily basis, and she will have no insurance. And she surely will die, and the state of Georgia will surely take her house. And I think that it is a great time today to say this out of my own mouth. It's a great day to expand Medicaid. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chairlady Lynn Smith is recognized for an afternoon order. Chairlady Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. So I'm so grateful that the American Heart Association has trained us to recognize February as Heart Awareness Month. I wish to talk something briefly that is not common knowledge. It goes to the importance of awareness. For several years, my husband, a vet, Vietnam vet, came home. He taught chemical warfare before he went to Vietnam. He was exposed to Agent Orange. For several years, we never knew what was wrong. He'd have something we called fake heart attacks because he'd go to the hospital to send him home. But through the years, we were told, you got to get there while it's going on. Yeah, right. How do you do that? But finally, he was diagnosed. Then we began a series of all these different tests, but he was diagnosed with heart disease. And this is where I think we all need to be aware, men, women, children, to know this. He died from a brain bleed. A brain bleed. His dog he was walking the dog chased something, pulled him, fell, hit his head. We thought nothing was wrong. And for 2 days, he had a wonderful life. But he had what's called ablations, and they had to do that. One of the ways they were trying to keep him going. And we just weren't aware that when you're put on such heavy, heavy blood thinners, you are a victim to that. That goes to anyone in this room who has a friend or a family, especially if you're older. So keep an eye out for unusual symptoms. Know that this is a consequence that's not talked about much, but actually it's a huge factor to a lot of deaths related to heart. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House, for listening to me, and to all of you who came to his funeral, many, many thanks.
Special message from a special lady. Thank you, Chair Lady. That completes our afternoon orders. Now we have some announcements. Before any more of you exit the chamber, I'll make one announcement. Look at your inboxes. We have a message that just went out to every member of this House. There will be some transportation opportunity provided by this House to attend the funeral in Columbus on Monday. So the details should be in your inbox. If for some reason you don't receive it, it's not transmitted properly, you can call my office and we'll help you with that, or you can call the majority office as well and talk to Peyton. Either one. So check your inboxes. I think you can see the message. And if you would like to take advantage of the travel arrangements, that's what it's there for. Representative McLean, you ready for an announcement?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I am.
Let's hear it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There are two things on your desk for me today. One is something in reference to SB 333, so please get a chance to read that from the Gwinnett County Commissioners. And today is, just like everything else, Georgia Work and Family Legislative Caucus Day, and we've changed our location, and we'll be in room 132 in the Capitol downstairs for lunch. So please stop in. We have lunch all over the place today, so please stop in. Work and Family Caucus. There'll be an overview of the Georgia 2025 budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Members, I overlooked someone, and I think I marked him off prematurely, but I know better. Not you, Representative McLean, the guy sitting next to you. Leader Beverly is recognized for an afternoon order that I forgot. Sorry about that.
No worries, and just so that we make sure that I follow protocol, I'd like for Representative Williams, could you please stand up here with me, but behind me, sir, and Representative Carl Gilliard. I appreciate you.
I got to stay on him now. That's right.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, today is a very special day. Many of you guys don't realize this, but there was a former member of this House who's a dear friend of mine, Craig Gordon, is a movie producer, believe it or not. This weekend, his movie comes out in Atlanta, LA, and New York, and it's called The Geechee Witch. Geechee Witch. It is the first time that an African-American Geechee, and these two brothers are Geechee, y'all asking what it means later, it's the first time that a horror movie was produced by a Geechee person right out of South Georgia. And so this weekend, if you could, please check out Geechee Witch. I hate horror movies, but I told him I'd go see it. But Craig Gordon, man, shout out to you. We're very proud of you. He is the executive producer and the writer of this movie. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm glad you got that one in.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the leader made it clear, but Craig is from Savannah, so that's awesome. I'm with you, Mr. Leader. I'm not much on horror movies either, but I'll see that one. Well, I'll wait and let you tell me how scary it is, then I'll decide if I'm going to see it or not. Representative Bazemore, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House and Senate members of the Fulton County delegation will be meeting in room 230 today at 4 p.m. to discuss organizational information for 2024. Thank you.
Chairman Jasper is recognized for an announcement.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, some of us have been around a little while, and technology can be challenging, but I'll tell you what, we've got some great interns in this building, and if you've got an intern You're very fortunate. Mine, Jackson, is helping me. And if you're on the transportation committee, you're getting texts from me from a group text that he's helping me with, and so that is me. And it's been a little bit of a challenge this morning for me, but we do have a meeting at 1 o'clock today. We have a couple of bills we need to get out and get into the flow of things, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Where is that meeting going to occur?
Hey, I used my trusty app to send it to them, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, they don't need you to make an announcement. I'm sure all of them got that.
6:06 at 1 o'clock.
Mr. Chairman, you trust technology about as much as I do, don't you? Chairman Blackman is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The 1 o'clock Ways and Means Committee meeting has been moved up on adjournment with some folks trying to get out of town, make sure we have a quorum, but we're in 406 upon adjournment. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Carter, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you. And again, thank you all for wearing red today. But immediately upon adjournment, the American Heart Association will be in 2:30, and they're not only going to be doing lunch, we're doing blood pressure checks and CPR training. So if you do not have not been trained with CPR, if you need a refresher, they're in 2:30. So thank you.
We appreciate those professionals. They do a great job. That concludes our announcements. Members, if you have a page today, we're going to take page photos as soon as we adjourn, so join us down front. We do have a birthday that will occur over the weekend. Y'all want to guess who that's going to be? Probably not. Representative Amadi Barnes will have a birthday on Sunday, February the 4th. There she is. Happy birthday. Hope it's a good one. I know it will be. I hope you have a great celebration. Thank you. You're a good member. No. Majority Leader of Stration is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 1 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, February 6, 2024.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House stands adjourned until 1 p.m. Tuesday, February 6, 2024, all those in favor of the motion will say aye. Opposed, no. Y'all are all on probation. The ayes clearly have it. We are adjourned.